With the NBA draft a little under 2 weeks away, we have had the opportunity to break down many of this year's prospects for both rounds. But talent can also be unearthed outside of the confines of the draft. Did you know that Fred VanVleet, Toronto's resident all-star guard, went undrafted out of Wichita State? Ditto for defensive specialist Bruce Bowen, who made 8 all-defensive teams and won 3 championships with the San Antonio Spurs. Or how about Hall of Famer and one-time Cavalier Ben Wallace, who ended up becoming one of the best defenders in league history? All of these players were undrafted signings upon the start of their NBA careers. Front offices must leave no stone unturned, and with that said, it's high time we take a look at a player who many believe could go undrafted this year in VCU's Vince Williams. What makes Williams such an appealing prospect? Well, let's take a look. When analyzing the film of the VCU product, the first thing that pops off of the screen is his ability to knock down the 3-ball. This guy is a real shooter, and it shows. Not only did he complete 38.7% of his attempts from range this season, he did so with enough volume to genuinely put fear into the minds of opponents. He attempted 5.6 per game this year, and he has managed to increase his volume every single season since coming to VCU. And when examining his shooting form, you'll likely notice that he doesn't have the quickest release, but it isn't slow enough to be a true concern, as his mechanics often create a pretty smooth stroke. And perhaps the best part about this aspect of his game in relation to what Cleveland could use is that he may be most effective off ball, especially when on the move or spotting up in the corners. He shot 36% off of catch and shoot jumpers this past season and 42.1% on unguarded catch and shoot jumpers at that. He can relocate with the best of them and can free himself up for additional opportunities. He's a good screen setter who could operate in the pick and pop, and that is something we didn't get enough of in Cleveland outside of Kevin Love. I could easily imagine him getting some minutes at the 2 or the 3 and screening for Darius Garland, only to receive the pass back once the defense has committed to Garland for an open and easy shot attempt out wide. Williams can also attack closeouts with a very quick first step that allows him to get past defenders, and once he does that, he becomes a threat to pull up off the dribble, in which he ranked in the 84th percentile in the nation. Next up, the VCU product has shown the ability to distribute the ball, as it wasn't out of character to see him hitting teammates for lobs at the rim or cutters, as well as spot-up shooters for open threes. There is some latent potential there as a tertiary or secondary facilitator, as he can even operate the pick and roll as the ball handler. His knack for making the extra pass could pay dividends for a team that didn't have enough ball movement at times this season. Williams makes some of the prettiest passes you're likely to see, as he can thread the needle on the move and is excellent at making plays on the bounce pass. And whether he's driving towards the basket or moving along the perimeter, he keeps his head up and on a swivel, always looking to put his teammates in good spots to score the ball. He loves the scoop pass and can fit the ball into tight windows. He just moves the ball well, and that's something that Cleveland could definitely use as a connective tissue of sorts. In terms of a go-to move, Williams is proficient in knocking down floaters over the outstretched hands of defenders. He's able to post up opponents and back them down to position for a good attempt. He also has the requisite size and strength to finish at the rim even through contact, as it was a quite common occurrence to see him attack a closeout and dunk it with both hands. Alrighty, next up is his defensive capabilities. Williams often plays bigger than his 6'6" listed size, and that is immediately apparent upon watching the game film of him. He is quite powerful, which aids him in his ability to guard up a position or two. At his size, he is reliant upon coordination and technique to block shots, but it's pretty damn impressive that he rejected 1.1 shots per game this season. He attacks the ball low. If he can get to an opponent's shot mid-attempt, he can disrupt them, which often results in blocks. Out on the perimeter, he is disciplined as well. This is most apparent when he closes out on would-be shooters. He can alter shots with ease, as his length is a legitimate problem for ball handlers, and he can take away space in an instant. Opponents completed just 4 of 29 of jumpers off the dribble on possessions in which he was the closest defender this season. And when targeted in the pick and roll, he can toe the line between shutting down driving lanes and persuading ball handlers into not pulling up on him, which is a nice skill to have at your disposal. Okay, time for some of the negatives. First off, I have questions in regards to his ability to play high-level on-ball defense. Williams doesn't showcase quick feet, and that hurts him in regards to his overall reaction time defensively. His recovery speed is lacking to a degree because of this, and that could be a problem at the NBA level where damn near everyone is an above average athlete. The Cavs are a defensive-minded team, and there are more established players that JB Bickerstaff would trust if Williams started to get beat on this end. Next is his inability to separate from defenders. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's capable of beating closeouts, but he doesn't have top-end speed or burst that allows him to blow by NBA caliber players. He did play in the Atlantic 10 Conference after all. He has decent handle, but lacks any true counters off the dribble, which could be exploited by solid perimeter defenders who could smother him. If teams can pressure him at the next level, he can be taken out of his comfort zone, and this tends to stagnate ball movement offensively. And last, but certainly not least, some may view him as more of a finished product due to him being a 4-year college player and already 21 years of age. Whether or not this is the case is unknown, but it could hurt his draft stock. Teams may opt to go with younger prospects who they feel will have more time to develop. Overall, I believe Vince Williams Jr. is just the type of prospect who the Cavs should have their eye on should he fall towards the latter end of the draft or out of it altogether. And if the latter becomes the case, they should absolutely bring him in for a workout. He would theoretically fill the need for a 3-and-D wing off the bench, and he does have some viability as a secondary facilitator. He has an NBA-ready skill set, so it's worth a shot in my opinion, so why not?